All right, let's jump right into this one. We're about to explore a story that kicks off with a raw, life or death struggle out in the wild. And believe me, it ends up in a place you would never, ever see coming. It's a wild ride from pure survival to, well, modern convenience, all packed into one very surprising poem. We're starting with this incredibly blunt idea because in the world we're about to step into, there are no second chances, no shades of gray. It's a pretty stark reminder that for some, every single second is a high-stakes game.
So, where did this story even come from? Well, it all started with a painting. UK artist Stephen Gayford created this really powerful wildlife scene, and that image directly inspired the poet Denis Martindale to write a piece called Brown Bears Fishing for Salmon. So, the art literally gave birth to the words we're looking at today.
Okay, now let's actually step inside that painting, into the world this poem is building for us. Try to forget everything else for a minute and just picture this. It's rugged, it's wild, and it's happening right now.
So we're on the edge of a river somewhere. The ground is anything but soft. It's sharp, it's unforgiving. You get the sense this whole place feels ancient and raw, like it was carved out by nature a long, long time ago.
And it's not quiet. There's motion, there's sound, this constant, powerful roar of a waterfall. It's just churning the water, making the air feel kind of electric with energy. This is definitely not some peaceful little stream. It's a place of action. And on those craggy rocks, we meet our first characters, two little cubs, and they're watching everything with these wide eyes. They're not newborns, but they're still young, still totally dependent. They're basically spectators in their own survival story, just waiting and learning. And then you see it, the center of this whole drama, the adult bear. It's standing there, solid as a rock against the current, a picture of pure focus and incredible patience. The entire family's survival? Yeah, it rests on the shoulders of this one powerful creature.
And this just nails that critical moment, doesn't it? Everything boils down to this single instant. The bear's intense focus meeting the salmon's desperate leap. It's a collision of two completely different destinies, and only one of them is going to succeed.
Okay, so let's zoom out a little, because this scene, it's building towards something bigger. It isn't just about one hungry bear. The poem uses this moment to make a much larger point about the brutal, unsentimental laws that really govern the natural world. You know, we've all heard the phrase survival of the fittest, but the author adds this fantastic little twist, or the slipperiest. And I love that, don't you? It's not just about being the strongest, it's also about agility, about luck, and maybe just the random chaos of the moment.
And this right here gets to the absolute core of the poem's message. Nature could not care less about our feelings. It doesn't care if we think the hunt is sad or if we're rooting for the salmon. It just operates on its own simple, ancient logic that is totally indifferent to what we think is right or wrong.
And of course, we have to remember, from the salmon's point of view, this isn't some grand philosophy. It's a desperate fight for its life, right? A frantic attempt to just keep going, to fulfill its own biological purpose. Two creatures, two destinies, but only one outcome. All right, so we've set this intense, raw scene of survival. Now, I need you to prepare yourself for one of the strangest left turns you will ever find in a poem. The whole vibe is about to change drastically. So after painting this incredibly vivid picture of a life or death struggle, the poet suddenly rips back the curtain and smashes this ancient drama right into our 21st century world. So what happens next? And there it is. The poet just flips the perspective entirely to himself. After describing a bear catching a raw, wriggling salmon to feed its family, he just announces his preference for a cheap, instant snack. It's jarring, it's funny, and it's absolutely bizarre. Now this really lays the contrast bare, doesn't it? On one side, you have this desperate, primal hunt for survival, and on the other, not just a convenient snack, but the casual thought of maybe having some cake later. The gap between these two realities is just massive. So what's the point of this weird pot noodle ending? Well, it's not just a gag. It's a very deliberate choice by the poet to make us stop and think about our own relationship with the very nature he just spent all that time describing so vividly. So here's what it all boils down to. The poem is pointing out how we watch these incredible life-or-death struggles as if they're entertainment, on our tellies. That pot noodle isn't random. It's a perfect symbol of our comfortable detachment. We get to observe the raw reality of survival without ever having to actually take part in it.
And really, that's the thought I want to leave you with. This poem, which starts with a bear and somehow ends with a snack, forces us to ask a really pointed question. When we watch these incredible scenes from the wild, are we truly connecting with nature, or are we just consuming another dramatic story from the comfort of our couch?